So over here, this was just kind of a lean-to space that wasn't being used. It had a gate on it. I pulled that out. I went ahead and ran the 2x6s around the perimeter, and then on the barn I just screwed it into, there's a board inside the barn there that the tin is actually connected to, so I just screwed it to that. I leveled it out, and so what this is going to be is a 10 by 30 foot electrical room. And so the panel stuff will run from over there, trench it up to here, it'll come in, and I'll have on this wall here will be all my electrical stuff. And then what I'm going to do, because it gets cold here, is I'm going to make this into like a little small electrical room inside of the 30-foot structure that I can insulate and put a little space heater in or whatever for when it does get cold, because I am running lithium batteries. And then the rest of it, I'll set it up. For right now, we'll get our internet put in out here, and I'll have a little workshop place to keep my tools locked up. And where this window is here in the barn, I'm actually going to take that out and put in a 36-inch door. So you won't actually have access to here from outside. You'll have to come in through the barn and then come in through the door to come into here. Who knows? I may even put a little bathroom out here. I don't know. So I could put in a septic tank right over in that area and have a little bathroom shower out here. It'd be kind of nice. And then on the roof, I will probably just put sheets of plywood up there and close that in. And it's waterproof, so that all this is like perfectly dry. So it should work just fine. And some of that wood, I don't know if you can tell, but that's the Amish cut wood. That's stuff you can't get at the store. So that'll last a long time. So that's the project I'm working on now. So today I got the perimeter in. I am going to start putting my joists in, and then I have in the back of my truck, I don't know if you can see all that, but I have a boatload of wood there. Actually, it's a truckload. But anyway, and there's my helper. Yeah, good old time. All right, quick update. A lot done. So it's the same day. It took about 4 hours to put all these in. I had the exact right amount to the number. And now I'm going to go ahead and put down the flooring. Barn's not perfectly square, so I'm just going to kind of make it work. And then I did source some red barn tin that I can put on the outside of this, so it'll go all around the edges and up to the gable and close it all in. And then right here is where I'll cut the door in once I get that. And it should be good. It'll be a nice little workshop. Big. Getting our tin today for the barn. Good morning. Yes, I don't have a shirt on. I've sweat through my clothes so many times, and it's actually just cooler not to have a wet shirt sopping to your body. Sopping wet shirt. Anyway, I came back out this morning and I picked up some lumber and tin. I think I showed you the tin. There's the tin. There's the lumber. So I'm going to a local hardware store here. It's about 5 miles from the Homestead, and they had spruce, and spruce is really kind of shoddy wood, but it's what they have, and it's a barn. So I came in this morning, I finished this strip over here. Because it wasn't square, what I do is I'll measure this in. So like this was 22.5, and this one over here was 21 3/4. So then I mark both ends on my board, and then I just take a 2x4 and lay it across there and draw a line, and then I cut it at that diagonal, and then it just fits perfectly. So I did that with all of them. They were off probably 1/4 inch, maybe 1/2 inch from one end all the way to the other, so it wasn't too bad. And then I went ahead and framed out this wall. So the framing allows the tin to have a solid foundation to screw to, because if you just do the crossboards, your wall will bow. So you need the ups and downs, and it's just rough carpentry. Nothing fancy here. I just put this 2x4 treated wood that I had left over from the solar panels. I put it across there, and then I had to look and make sure that it was square. So I ended up squaring it up with that post, which gave me a little bit of a lip there. But what happens is when I put this piece here and the piece down there, along with this piece up here, the tin will actually be flush and square to the wall. So it should work out good. So now I'm going to do these short walls, which will go pretty quick. And then I'm going to save the last wall for when I have a full day, because I need to cut out this window and put a door in, because if I close all this in, I won't be able to get back in here. And I want to make it pretty when I close that in. So anyway, working on that. The solar panels are on hold for a few minutes, a few days, probably next week, until I get this room made. And then update on this. I haven't tried to pull it out yet, but I think what I might do, this pole over here, I'm going to leave it, cut this one off or pull it out and just put two more, and then just have a space between the solar panels and call it good. So my mistake. Measure 6-7 times and then pour concrete once. That's the new motto. So but yep, that's in a nutshell what's going on today. So it's actually kind of overcast and cool out, so there's a nice cool breeze blowing, but just because I'm just working so quickly, I'm just drinking lots and lots of water and sweating profusely. So anyhow, that's what's happening. And then I need to mow. There's always stuff to do. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I frame out this wall real quick. That one took about 20 minutes. It's really not hard at all. So first thing I do is take a 2x4 and place it at the bottom here. Now normally if you're going to frame a wall, you're going to put the 2x4s, you're going to lay it flat, you're going to nail everything together and then stand your wall up. But since this is already here, I'm going to put the bottom piece in and then just use the air gun, the hammer, to just put the nails in a diagonal. So yeah, so let's get started. Kind of flushing this up with the post. Saying this little blue speed square is just, you just have to have this in your toolbox. That's tool ever, unless you don't want to cut straight lines. But you can use it for angles. Mostly I just square it up just to draw straight lines so I can line my saw up and go. All right, the bottom piece is in. Now on the top, what I'm going to do is measure. Actually, I'm doing these 2 foot on center because it's a barn and I don't care. So I'm going to lay my tape out all the way. And I'm going to mark it over 2 feet. So 2 foot. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boards. And how long do I need those 6 boards? Here's 71. 71. 1. 1. Okay. 71 will work for all of them, which is good. Next thing is just grab these and start marking 6 of them at 71 inches. Cut them all at once. Here's the easy part. So, first one in, just tack it in. I can't see this, but I have a mark right on the floor at 2 feet. Home Depot and getting premium lumber and paying a price for it. So. It's a great air compressor, but a small tank. So when I told you some of the things weren't square, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, those are, excuse me, they're solid. Now I'm going to put the middle piece in. That's what the 10's going to screw to. And then I'll do the next one. So pretty quick and easy. Should make a nice room. Alright, so I'm always all about working more efficiently. So I lined all my boards up, drew a line at 71 inches, and I'm going to cut them all at the same time. Drew the line all at the same time too. Okay, so I have started the 10. Got my first piece up. So, looks pretty good. Now, what I did is I notched it around those rafters to get it up as tight as I can. It's not going to be perfect, but it's a barn. And then made sure that this piece is level in plumb, so then the rest of them will just line up with it in theory. So sheet metal is very dangerous, so make sure if you're using it to wear your gloves and know where your nearest hospital is. I've had 10 stitches and it only took a second. So not today, but on a shed I was building a few years ago, the wind caught the last piece of the gable and just flung it out of my hand, and it just sliced right through my knuckle, and I had to have it sewn back up. So I'm actually wanting to close in this roof area, so I'll figure I'll do something about that. Maybe I'll try to make the next ones a little bit tighter, and then we'll go from there. So, got a couple tools. I got this little doodad, which hooks to your drill, and it's got teeth. It's good for cutting vertically, but going across, because I have to cut these down, it's no good. And then I got those big old cutters right there. And the key thing with the cutters, which I didn't know, they make ones that cut right, they make ones that cut left, they make ones that cut both ways. So make sure you get the one that cuts both ways. Makes it easier. So that's what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm going to start cutting these and just start putting them up. Wish me luck. 92 here. 92. I wish I had a Sharpie, but I don't. Pencil seems to work pretty good. Okay, so one side overlaps, and then that. Okay, so last night I closed in the rest of this. Got some little gaps I gotta fill, but got that all done. Before I can actually close in the end, I gotta put in a door. So I took out this window, and my theft-proof window took me probably less than 3 minutes to get out. So I'm glad that's gone. So the door is a metal utility door, and on the side here it tells you what size to make the door. Let's see if I can focus that. There we go. So it's 38 1/4 by 81 1/8. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do here is just put it along this edge, and then measure over my 38, mark it, cut out the sheet metal, and then go ahead and frame it out for the door. And then I'm going to actually frame out this whole wall and insulate it and put this particle wood stuff that I got to put on the inside. It's not pretty, but it's cheap. That's $18 a sheet. Plywood is actually $30 to $40 a sheet now. So I bought the cheapest I could find. I didn't really want to use sheetrock in here because it's a shop, and if I want to nail stuff to the wall or whatever, I can do that. And then if the barn does leak, the sheetrock and the insulation and everything will just get soppy wet, nasty. So I don't have to worry about that with the wood. So that's what I'm going to do. cut that. Little snag. There's a board going across here that I need to cut halfway into. So that's no fun. I think this I can just pull. At my blade, so when it's crooked like that, it's hard to cut a straight line. So it's hard when you're so far away from everything to just run to the store. So if I didn't bring it, then I wait till the next time I come out and then do it then. But the door was a necessity because once I close this in, I can't get in here. So this has to go in today. Alright, so that's my rough opening. Down here is going to be a pain in the butt. So I think I'll put a long wood blade on my reciprocating saw and see if I can cut it all out that way. If that'll work, that'll be good. But it's that thick, almost barn wood. And it's going to be hard to cut. But once that's in, then the door will be flush to the floor, go all the way up, and then I can frame it. Okay, I finished closing in this end of the barn. Didn't do too shabby. Took a little bit more time measuring this time. The other end, it was getting dark. I didn't do so good. That doesn't look so great, but it'll work. It's hard to wrap those corners. Yeah, it's all closed in. So, walk around this way. I haven't put the door in yet. So I just finished the walls. So, that's that. It's dark. So, I want to go and get the door framed out, and then I want to finish this back wall with the insulation and the paneling, and put my electrical panel up there and run it to my generator, and so I can put a couple lights in here. And then I got to go back and fix this area up in here, make that a little bit more tight so nothing can get in. I'm going to use some extra tin that I have and just slide it up in there and screw it down. It'll be fine. It's just a barn. Yep, that's the other. Okay, so got the door in. Barn's not really level, so the door's level, and it shuts and opens really nicely. See, open. Have to do some creative framing because I can't lift the walls by laying them down and building them, laying them up. So I'm just going to piece it together. I'm going to put a 2x4 across the top and a couple of those for a header, and then run stringers down from there. Trying to keep it 2 foot apart because my insulation's 2 foot. This new tin here is where I patched the hole on the other side. Went ahead and put the foam in. But yeah, it's gonna work good. Need to make it pretty, but it's functional for now, which is good. And I can lock it, so that's good. So That's all I'm gonna do today. I'll come back next time, frame the rest of this out. We'll get insulation in, and then put the plywood up. And then we'll be in good shape. So I like how you can see the one screw hole I missed down here. The light is shining through. And then I still gotta fix this stuff. But overall, it made a nice little room. I like it. All right, good morning update. It's Tuesday, the next week. I've only been able to come out a couple days a week to work. So I came out last night and spent the night. And then this morning, I have been busy putting in plugs and wiring. And then I'm gonna start the insulation today. Right there on the right of that insulation is where the electrical box is gonna go. So I got plugs wired. I got wire coming up here and going across and down to that switch over there. And then I decided on here, I'm gonna cut these to fit, and then they should be able to just nail to the rafters and then come down here, and I'll put a piece along the bottom. And then those are, I believe those are set at 2 foot already. And I'll get insulation to go up in there and then close in the ceiling too. But that'll be a quick and easy way to set up that wall. And then my big mistake was I didn't get enough wire. I decided I'd wire this wall because I'm going to do a workbench along this wall, and I'll have plugs. And then this wall I'm not going to wire. I'll just put in a light switch. It's just the way it's going to be. If I do decide to do it, I can run it on the outside or on the inside of the barn. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, fun. Okay, just a quick update. Got the insulation in. This wall was more narrow, so I just used pieces as I cut them off over on these because they were too long. So got most of it done. I'm not gonna, that's just one package of insulation, so I did quite a bit. So I'm not gonna open another one until I'm ready for it, because I don't want to be breathing all that stuff in. But yeah, so now I'm gonna start cutting the wall boards and start putting them up. Okay, so I got some walls up. Got to cut a piece for that. It's fun cutting these when it's that crooked. Makes it a little bit more challenging. I got this piece cut out for here, and that lovely piece of wood's actually going behind the wall on this one. Over there it was sticking out too far, so I actually had to cut my wood. I don't know if you can tell, but I had to cut it crooked to make it fit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and insulate the rest of these. I just put up the framing for that side. Worked perfectly. It's actually 2 foot across on the rafters, almost exactly. So I think the downside is that my insulation is not going to cover that entire wall. So I'm going to need like 1 1/3 pieces for each one. So I'm probably gonna have to buy more insulation to get it all done. But I think what I'll do is I'll do it up to as high as it'll go and put up the wall boards for that height. And then when I put in the rest of it, I'll put it in. So that'll work. All right, I'm back at it. All right, well, I'm back finishing up the last of the insulation. So here's what I've done. It's been a few hours since I last recorded. So I got the room all walled in all the way around, even behind the door. Okay, still need that piece. I'm cutting the insulation pieces to go up there. Like I said I was going to do. I'm just putting those in, and then I'm going to use the scrap pieces to try to puzzle piece that all together up there. I only have one more board, a 4x8 left, and I have all the scrap pieces that I've cut. So I think I can make a lot of it stretch. Then the ceiling will actually come down like right through here and right here. So then all this will be covered up. You won't see any of that. That'll all be inside the ceiling. So I'll get insulation for the ceiling and then more boards, plywood boards to close it in with. Maybe I'll find me a helper or figure out a way to do it by myself. Then it'll all be closed in. I found these guys. Which they're gonna have to go. They're all alive. They've been sitting there all day. They haven't bothered me, so I'll let them live for now. All right, so I'm gonna finish the rest of this insulation. I got 2 pieces left, and then put up the wallboards. And then I think later, once it gets dark out, I'm gonna go ahead and build a shelf to go over here and start unboxing my batteries and getting them wired together. In theory, I could put the batteries and the inverter together and hook the generator to it and have power running that way. So the wires sticking out here go to the plugs, and then I have one wire dangling here, which will be a light. But I also ran this plug right here, which is going to be a 30 volt, not a 30 volt, a 30 amp RV plug. So I can plug my RV in right there to the batteries, which will be cool. Okay, so I finished all that to the best of my ability. The ceiling will cover up most of the rest of it. I'll probably have to put a piece of trim to cover up the edge. I measured everything the same, 12 inches all the way around on those top boards. And then you can see up here, I probably should have measured those. Oh well, it's a barn. Okay, so the sun is setting on this day. I don't know if you can, it's pretty, but you can't tell. Cheap cameras. Okay, so what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to build a workbench, basically a bench to where all my electrical is going to go, so I can set stuff on there and be able to work. So I'm going to get that up right now, because once it gets dark I won't be able to see in this barn very well. I have to move my light. I only have one light. So I'm going to go ahead and get that installed over here, and that should go quick and easy. So 32 inches would be a nice height, I guess. I'll put the top of the board right there. to do is I'm going to lean against it to hold it in place while I nail it. So here, what I want to do, I'm going to put a leg on it. So I'm going to see where it's level and then measure. So yeah, it's almost level there. So I should cut. We'll cut 32 inches and then nail them together. Pretty good bench. Solid. Solid as a rock. So I told you, once the sun goes down, it gets dark here. So this is my barn in the dark. So I actually cannot work out here without a light.